Jira components. How to organize your project like a pro. Creating components in Jira tool. In this video, I will show you how to create components in the Jira tool while you create and test your project. Components in the Jira tool are used to group issues within a project into smaller sets. They can be created based on the platform that the app supports or based on the feature of the application that is under test. For example, if you are working on a large project with multiple platforms, you might want to create components for each platform. On the other hand, if you are working on a small project with only one platform, you might want to create components based on the feature of the application. By creating components that make sense for your project, you can better organize your work and make it easier to manage. To create components in Jira tool, you must have the project administrator role in your project. You can add, edit, or delete components from components page in your project. The components page shows a list of components and each component's details including name, description, lead, default assignee, and associated issues. You can add, edit, or delete components from this page. Here is an informative content about creating components in Jira and how to document them. Jira components are subsections of a Jira project that are used to group issues into smaller parts. They are useful for generating reports and collecting statistics. For example, let's say you have a project for a mobile app. You could create components for each platform the app supports, such as Android, iOS, iPad OS, Apple Watch, etc. In other words, this way, when an issue arises, it can be assigned to the appropriate component based on the platform it affects. This helps in organizing the issues and makes it easier for the team to manage and resolve them. I will now show you how to add components to the Jira tool. Let me give you a real app example. As we all know, WhatsApp is a popular messaging app that supports multiple platforms including Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and the web. In the component section of the Jira tool, you could document the platforms that WhatsApp supports as separate components. For example, you could create components such as Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and website to represent the different platforms that WhatsApp supports. This way, when an issue arises, it can be assigned to the appropriate component based on the platform it affects. This helps in organizing the issues and makes it easier for the team to manage and resolve them. Let's now quickly create a project in Jira. Since I have already signed up and I'm now inside the Jira tool, I will go ahead and create a new project. Simply go to the project and click on it to view all projects. Scroll down below. You may view all project from here. Now simply click on create project. I am choosing a Scrum template for my project. Then I'm going to go ahead and choose a company managed project. Then add a project name. I'm naming my project as Project 6. Then click on Next. Now, since my project is created, I can go from here inside my project. Then select components from the left sidebar menu. Now click on Create New Component from here and then add a name and the description. So let me show you how to add the components for the WhatsApp project. As an example, I'm simply adding the platforms that WhatsApp supports. I'm adding component name Android. This means in the description, I should write that this component represents all issues related to the WhatsApp application on the Android platform. This includes issues related to message sending or receiving, account management, privacy settings, and other features specific to Android devices. And then save this component. Remember, the goal of the description is to provide clarity for your team. It should help team members understand what kind of issues should be assigned to this component. As you see here, if a component is not assigned to any specific person, it will be set to default assignee. This means that when an issue is created and assigned to this component, it will automatically be assigned to the default assignee. In Jira, you can assign components to specific project leads based on their area of expertise. For example, if your project has a lead who specializes in testing on Android devices, you would assign the Android component to them. Similarly, if you have a lead who specializes in testing on iPhone devices, you would assign the iPhone component to them. For smaller projects that don't have platform specific leads, you can assign components to the test lead or the project manager. This helps ensure that issues are managed by the person best equipped to handle them. Let's now quickly add the other components. So click here to create another component. I'm adding the component name iOS and then save. Then again create a new one, that is Windows Phone, and then create component again, and that is website. You see, I have now created all my components in Jira. To make it easier for you to understand, I will provide some more real app examples. Let's consider ride hailing apps such as Uber or Lyft. In these apps, we need to test both the drivers and the riders' sides. Therefore, we have two main components, the Uber driver app and the Uber rider app. So, in other words, I am talking about two separate components within the same app. Since the Uber app supports Android, iOS, and iPad OS as well as website and an admin panel, it's important to test the app on all of these platforms. Dividing your components based on these platforms can make it easier to organize and manage the issues that arise during testing. For example, you could create separate components for each platform, such as Android, iOS, iPad OS, website, and admin panel. This way, when an issue arises on a particular platform, it can be assigned to the appropriate component. This helps in organizing the issues and makes it easier for the team to manage and resolve them. Please note, this is just an example I am showing you because this is how you will divide your project work into subsections. However, please make sure to verify this structure with the actual requirements of your project, as there might be additional components or platforms that are not included in this diagram. As you see, I have created another project and documented the components in the Jira tool, like website, Rider iPad OS app, Rider iOS app, Rider Apple Watch, Rider Android app, Driver iPad OS, Driver iOS app, Driver Android app, and the admin panel. I am giving you one example of what to write in the description if required. If the component is Rider Android app, then the description must be this component represents all issues related to the Rider interface of our app on the Android platform. This includes issues related to ride booking, ride tracking, payment processing, account management, and other features specific to riders using our app on Android devices. Remember, the goal of the description is to provide clarity for our team. It should help team members understand what kind of issues should be assigned to this component. When working with a tool like Jira, it's important to create components based on the platforms that your app supports. This could be different operating systems like Android or iOS, or different user interfaces like a rider app or driver app in the case of ride hailing services. Whichever ride hailing apps you choose to create in order to practice creating components, just search and find out which platforms it supports. Some of the ride hailing apps like Uber, Lyft, Flywheel, Arrow, etc. You could create components for each platform it supports, or if it is a smaller project, you may create components related to their features. Also, if you are working on a real project, then you should have access to the Jira tool from the Jira admin in order to create components and assign issues set as a default assignee or to the test lead. For smaller projects that only run on one platform or version, it makes sense to create components based on the different features of the app. For example, ride options, payment, and account management, etc. Remember, the key is to structure your components in a way that makes sense for your project and your team. This will help in organizing the issues and make it easier for the team to manage and resolve them. As we know that WhatsApp is a popular messaging app that offers a variety of features to its users. In the component section of the Jira tool, you could create components based on the different features of WhatsApp. Some examples of components that you could create includes messaging. This component could represent all issues related to the messaging functionality of WhatsApp, including sending and receiving messages, group chats, and message notifications. Next is voice and video calls. This component could represent all issues related to the voice and video call functionality of WhatsApp, including making and receiving calls, call quality, and call notifications. Next is media sharing. This component could represent all issues related to the media sharing functionality of WhatsApp, including sending and receiving photos, videos, documents, and other media files. Next, privacy and security. This component could represent all issues related to the privacy and security features of WhatsApp, including end to end encryption, two step verification, and blocking contacts. These are just a few examples of components that you could create based on the different features of WhatsApp. You can create as many components as needed to represent the various features and functionality of the app. What components I should create based on different features of any ride hailing app. For example, Uber or Lyft. For a ride hailing app like Uber or Lyft, you could create components in Jira based on the different features of the app. Some examples of components that you could create includes ride options, then payment, account management, driver management, etc. Like, share, and subscribe. Press the bell icon to get notified of my new uploads. Thank you for watching.